bye.
I'd like to call to order the Municipality of Monroeville's Citizens Night and Agenda Setting Meeting for March 5th, 2020. Would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All of council is in attendance, other than Councilman Aracinko, who is at a Boroughs Association meeting this evening. Before we get to our Citizens Night meeting and our citizens' remarks, we have a brief presentation about COVID-19, otherwise known as the coronavirus. Councilman Poach, who also serves as our Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator, has a presentation on where we're at with that here in the municipality. So, Mr. Poach, please.
Thank you, Mayor. And wait till Joe brings everything up for us. Thank you, Joe. So, obviously, if you haven't been on the planet, you've missed the fact that the world is preparing for a potential pandemic outbreak. Let's take a look at a couple of things this evening. First of all, what are we currently facing as a situation? And then in our area, and also what we need to do, in Monroeville, and where our next steps moving forward to do that. So first of all, you're looking at about a 4-hour-old snippet of a dashboard that I keep an eye on as well. It's a little difficult to see. It's smaller. Since I downloaded this and put it at 4 o'clock, there are about another 9 cases added across the world of the outbreak of COVID-19, which is what it's appropriately named for by the WHO. At the moment, we have about 209 cases in the United States, which you can see a little further on down the bottom. So the first thing is there are no reported cases as of this afternoon in Pennsylvania. Personally, I expect that to change at some point. Just from the numbers that's ongoing, it'll happen as well. The numbers are probably going to lend themselves to that type of presentation to it. That's in place. But let's put this into context for just a second. This is the current, what you see here, the flu statistics from CDC up through February 22nd here in the United States. This is the flu that we get a vaccine for. This is the annual seasonal flu. It's an H1N1 flu. The vaccine's actually reasonably, despite what rumors or anything, it's reasonably effective that we have this year. It's about in the 48% range, which is actually pretty good from that. So there's been 45 million flu illnesses in the United States, upwards to do that. And you can see the numbers here in the corner, the medical visits, but lower right-hand corner, almost 46,000, flu-related deaths in the U.S. since October to February. So this is still, from that standpoint, much worse in the United States and to be concerned with. So we'll talk about some of the things that we should be doing individually, and also the same things apply to our preparation for COVID-19 to do that. And that's really the piece right here. Had the chance to opportunity that anybody picked up an agenda this evening should have the opportunity to pick up a hand sanitizer, all of our group up here. So I'd like everybody to pick up, make sure right now, go ahead, please sanitize your hands, because right now you're making the biggest opportunity to stop the spread of any type of viruses in place, seasonal virus. A couple of things we should all be doing, distancing from folks, and if you're sick, stay home.
Stay home.
Stay home for that. The flu indication is you need to be 24 hours fever-free from that until you're done. So that's your indication, if you in fact have that. I know I personally, and I don't even have Mr. Aracinko to harass, but we sounded all like him a couple of weeks ago from this here. That turned into something I went to my doctor for, and I said, by the way, flu swab me to check. Came up negative, thank heavens. It still didn't improve my voice for some time to do that, but that's what we need to do, is getting vaccinated and stopping the spread. This is going to be the same nature of the problem as it happens right now with COVID-19. Currently this week, literally human trials are starting on the vaccine. They've begun to do that. They don't know if they have them started, ramped up yet, because a lot of people have to volunteer for it to do that. So the potential vaccine, but it's not going to be available for at least probably 10 months on the fastest. What you see nowadays is completely different than the responses to the Ebola outbreak in 2014 to 2016 and the recent Ebola outbreak that was in 2018 to through the end of, well, it's almost over. It's slowed down. They haven't had any cases of that for 6 days now in the Congo, too. So that's been something that's being considered. But the response worldwide and things that are happening, number one, the fast tracking of flu vaccines and countermeasures for it is way faster than they've done. They spread it out in different places. So what else do we need to do? Our next steps in Monroeville to do that. First of all, our government services. Let's plan for that. I spoke with folks at IT. We'll look forward in the next week or two to consider continuity government related issues. What kind of services we can and cannot do, how it affects department heads, things along those lines. That's the next prudent steps to do that that's in place. Most likely, I can tell you, I've spoken to a couple other emergency managers across the area. I've actually, as recently as the North Huntington counterpart, on my way home this evening, in contact with the city of Pittsburgh folks as well. You know, law enforcement and public works are probably going to come to work, guys. I mean, from a social, distancing perspective and their interaction, they're going to do that. Interestingly enough, the police department already has PPE kits in their police cars. They've already been issued to them. They have the ability to protect themselves if they're to do that. We'll keep in touch with fire and EMS as well. There's some training and education on the horizon for folks there to review that, so those folks will be in place. Our considerations we'll be facing up is the third bullet point down here, and that's our day-to-day government services, how we can and cannot operate to do that, in place, not in place, distant, remotely, and so on. So those will continue, as well as communication planning with the rest of the community, how we make sure that those things do and do not occur. So those are the next steps for us as a municipality to plan for that. Any other thoughts or suggestions now? Take a couple of questions or thoughts or the discussions. Mayor, I'll cue you as well. Anything else?
No, I mean, excellent job, and I think, some of the basics are, washing your hands, don't touch your eyes, your face. If you're sick, like you said, stay home. Certainly, here in Monroeville, we have our library and our senior center, which are meeting places. We certainly want high attendance at those places. However, if you're not feeling well, please stay home and not spread germs.
Yeah.
Eric, is it true that the virus can't live outside the body for over 3 days?
Oh, it's even less than that one. Right now, the challenge with any of the new coronaviruses, this is the 6th, I believe, one that's discovered from that right now. And the first 4 are accredited cause in the common cold. So somebody probably has it, even as we sit here now, to do that. Apparently, to date, it's kind of a wimp outside of the body. So if we were to sneeze onto the surface for the next couple of minutes, it's probably in case. 2 minutes, maybe a little longer, maybe a little shorter. That's information that's currently ongoing. The challenge has been, what's real and what isn't. I mean, as it began in China early on, obviously getting that information was difficult, and it was difficult for the Chinese government as well. I was going to show a slide that was in the Journal of Foreign Affairs this week, and it showed them doing some social distancing. And the article was like, could this happen in a society like ours? And it showed a police officer with a face mask on, a family with a face mask on, and 2 clear plastic bags over top of them as well. They have a process right now that they use, an application, on your phone that's approved by the health department. If you're out and you don't have the right color, you're not supposed to be out. You're taken into custody, and removed. So the ability to sequester 56 million people is not something easily done in a society. The population of Florida and Georgia say, nope, can't go to the grocery store. We don't see that happening here. I don't see any of those kind of numbers. We have, back on our list, a couple of hundred, in the U.S. We will see one in Pennsylvania, folks. I mean, the numbers are just that. Yeah. It's going to happen. So I know we feel like, I hope it doesn't, I hope it doesn't, I hope it doesn't, but it probably will, so occur. A few cases, a couple. The flu is worse right now, so that's we have to keep that into perspective. But it's got a slightly lower mortality rate than the flu at the moment. So getting information, that study's ongoing. Information that's in place, the Allegheny County Health Department website, the Department of Health, PA Department of Health website, and go straight to CDC. It's on there. It's up to date. What you should or shouldn't do, the risk, the threat to do that. So we'll have some questions on things, how we affect socialization, public government.
The doctor from UPMC was on the other night and
Dr.
said
Snyder.
There was, I guess that's his specialty.
Gramps, yeah.
He was saying there was no reason for the average public to go out and buy masks and gloves and things like that.
Graham is actually correct. In my day job, I work with him. And actually, the last couple of weeks, I probably talked to him about twice a day on some weather shape, and that's absolutely true to do that. What we do now, and the other point too, and I said to the mayor too, when people sneeze, we consider to do this. Bare your arm to that when you're done. And I symbolically made sure we handed out hand sanitizer, but I suggested everybody else, we put them over here by the agenda and whatnot. Those simple tasks, washing your hands after, are important. You know, that simple stuff. And as you said, you know, on our surfaces, cleaning surfaces when we're done. Nothing like a bleach wipe that, you know, can't kill, it will kill everything else too.
Great.
Yes, Steve?
Mr. Post, I was going to say, from hearing things on the news, do you remember where this originated or how it originated?
Sure. In this particular case, remember, most of the coronaviruses have been serious in this place. SARS, as well as MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, has also been, they're what they call zoonotic diseases, which means they come from animals and transfer to humans. There's an interesting point, I talked to some of my intelligence counterparts this past week too, and it's an illegal market in China. In place. So there's some contention of like, is there criminal activity involved with it too for exotic animals in place. And that's pretty much where they have moved that back to, and even CDC and WHO reports that into an illegal market in Wuhan and Hubei province in China in place, you know, to do that as well. So I don't expect us to be dining on bats a lot. So that's probably not a delicacy for us as much, but it is a concern, you know, to do that from across the world.
Eric, as a point of interest,
Yeah.
the reason you have buttons on your sleeve is so you can't wipe your nose on your sleeve. Years ago, that's what it was.
Actually, I've heard that before, Tom. It's a shame that I know that piece of trivia too, but you're right, in place. But in fact, capturing that and making sure that you do capture your sneezes from that too. All right, guys?
Excellent.
Other questions? More to come.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
as we plan in the municipality too, we'll keep everyone informed.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Post.
Thanks,
Poach.
guys.
Excellent
Thank you
job.
very much.
Thank you.
And Mr. Poach did touch on this. The Allegheny Health Department has created a dedicated page for the coronavirus or COVID-19 at alleghenycounty.us/coronavirus. But if you go to the county website, you can locate it there. Also, they have dedicated alerts on Facebook and on Twitter through the county and the CDC. So excellent information, and stay tuned. Now we're going to move over to our citizens' remarks. Anyone that has signed in this evening or would like to sign in and address council, now would be your time.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nicole Henline, Director of the Monroeville Public Library and resident. I just wanted to come and thank you for your continued support and let you know what's happening at the library. First, I would like to thank Public Works so incredibly much. They have been helping us with our HVAC system, which has been an albatross for a long time, and they have been great. And they have also recently helped to reimagine 2 of the spaces in the library to make room for more people. As the mayor mentioned, it is a community space. So if you haven't seen the wonderful work that they've done, please stop by the library. It's amazing. So I have a couple things to tell you about, and then I will leave you to your business. But on April 4th, we have a very exciting event. Daniel Tiger is visiting the library. There will be whole family events, activities, and also pictures with Daniel Tiger. We have community people who are going to be reading stories every 10 minutes. Because that was not crazy enough, we decided to also add on April 4th, the county will be coming to demonstrate the new voting machines. They will be at the library from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on that Saturday, the 4th. So if you want to stop by and see how the new voting machines work, please do. We had a very successful start in February to our caregiver education series. Please join us on Friday, March 13th at 2:30 to learn about reducing caregiver stress. And that will also be available on TV 13. I know that that's going to be videotaped. The library staff has been attending trainings on the upcoming census. If community members have questions or concerns or they need help filling out the census, whether because of technology issues or anything else, they can come to the library or call the library and we can set up an appointment to help them. It's important that everyone in the community is counted. Our Great Decisions discussion program begins March 11th at 6:30. We still have several books available, the more the merrier. This current event discussions group is in its 4th year at the Monroeville Public Library. And last but not least, April, we have National Library Week, and we will be having, the Library Fund will be having a trivia night fundraiser. There'll be both a family session on Harry Potter and an adults-only session on general trivia, and that's on April 25th. So, yes.
I have to say, I was at the library, as you know, recently, and the new rooms look great. But also wanted to mention to people that you have the tax forms.
Yes.
And actually, I picked up a few to do state returns and the books, so they're there for anyone that's looking for them. You don't have to go up to the post office. They're at the library.
No, we get some, and then we have to thank Senator Brewster's office. They've been able to get us a lot more than we're able to get ourselves.
Good.
Because they don't want to give them to libraries anymore.
Well, it was great. It
so-
really was. It was very handy
Yes.
for me to be able to pick up there.
Wonderful. And if there's anything people can't find with what's displayed, we can print it for you from online.
Wonderful.
So, any other questions?
Nicole, what was the dates for the voting machine?
April 4th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
One day.
Yes, but they will be all over the county in different libraries. So if you can't make it that day, check out the county website. And I believe they're going to be at the mall for 2 days as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Anything else for Nicole? Great job, Nicole.
Thank you so much.
Great job, Nicole, thank you.
Thank you.
You did forget one thing, though.
Oh, what did I forget?
Library.
I did forget about that.
Yeah, it was a big deal, because we kind of led the way with that, too.
Yes, September 1st, we were one of the first 12 libraries in the state of Pennsylvania to go fine-free. And there are now 14-plus libraries in Allegheny County, and the city of Philadelphia is now going fine-free. And the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the editorial board put out an editorial on Tuesday singing the praises of the program and talking about how important it is and how all libraries should follow suit. So it was a real boon to Allegheny County, and we were first
To do that.
Nice.
to do that. So we're very excited with how well it's going. Things are being returned at the normal or even a little bit higher rate.
Great.
So,
And so the psychology of it was sound. It was right.
yes, that's luckily people had already done the research for us,
Right.
and it was sound.
Good.
So, thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
reminding me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Anyone else would like to address council? And Mr. Little, you had something before?
Yes, I just wanted to introduce our intern, one of our administrative interns, Maddie Handelsman. She is going to Robert Morris University, majoring in political science, and she has to be here for class. Did you want to say anything, Maddie?
A wave is all we're going to
She does a phenomenal job working with Joe and Dara and I and everybody else, and she just does a great job, so I had to introduce her and commend her on that. Thank you, Maddie.
Welcome, Maddie. And if there's no one else who wants to address council, we're going to close that portion of the meeting. And we're going to move over to our agenda-setting part of our meeting. We have an executive session announcement that council conducted an executive session for personnel and litigation reasons prior to tonight's Citizens Night meeting, beginning at 6:45 p.m. until 7 p.m. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at the March 10th council meeting. Council, in your packet, you have the minutes of the Citizens Night meeting of February 6, 2020, the council work session of February 6, 2020, and the regular council meeting of February 11th, 2020. Are there any additions or corrections?
None.
Seeing none. Tax collections, the reports. Any comments or questions, council?
No, sir.
List of bills and budget transfers. Mrs. Gatos, do you have any questions this evening?
Nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Poach?
No, sir.
Mr. Harvey?
Nothing.
Mr. Wolfram?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Mr. Williams? And Mr. Wolf, okay, we got it.
I thought
Very
you said rules.
And payroll report, any comments? Very good, seeing none. We will review our vacancies on boards, commissions, and authorities on Tuesday, and now we're going to move over to our consent agenda. We have two motions this evening. Mr. Little, please, on the motions.
Okay, we have, as the mayor said, we have two motions. The first for Tuesday evening is a motion to approve a business membership with the Turtle Creek Watershed Association in an amount of $50. We did this last year, and council have any questions on that?
Nope, next.
Okay, the next one is a motion to authorize to advertise public hearings for the 5-year capital improvement program. And Josie will have a little report on that towards the end of the meeting on the capital improvement budget to bring council up to date on that. Okay?
Very good. Any other comments or questions, council? Very good. We have two resolutions this evening, Mr. Little.
Okay, these are the two resolutions that we pass about this time every year. It's a resolution authorizing the distribution of grant funds for Memorial Day Parade in the amount of $5,000.
Question.
Yes.
We had given 6,000 last year, and I was wondering and hoping that we could go ahead and give them 6
It's up
again
to
this year.
council. It's the pleasure of council.
So I'm asking to change that to 6.
Council?
Yeah, exact council, is anyone, are we in favor of putting that on the agenda to consider for Tuesday?
Yes, I am.
I am.
Okay, we'll change that on the agenda,
Thank you.
6,000, and we can consider that on Tuesday.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next resolution is the same resolution authorizing the distribution of grant funds for the Monroeville Independence festivities in the amount of $12,000, and that was the same amount as last year. And as everybody knows, Mr. Logan and Monroeville Convention Center also gives $12,000 for this also.
They give 12.5.
I talked to Mr. Johns, he said they were happy with that.
Yes.
Very good. Any other comments, council? Nope. And that's our resolutions for this evening. We have no ordinances to consider this month. We're going to move to our reports of our municipal staff. Mr. Little, you can keep the floor there.
Okay, college students' summer employee applications, they are due April the 17th.
Where are we on that?
2020, obviously. So Maddie, you have to have it in by April the 17th.
Good thing you came to the meeting.
Yeah, really.
How is that going, Mr. Little? How, have we gotten a lot of applications?
Well, I don't think we have any yet that I'm aware of.
3.
Joe, did we get any?
Yeah, about 3.
Oh, we get 3? Okay.
And we usually hire on like 20, 25 people, don't we?
Yeah.
So they need to get their
Well, I
application,
mean,
they need to get their,
spring break's starting now for a lot of them, so that's why they usually come in right around now, so.
okay.
Yeah.
And these are college students, but also seniors that have graduated that are going to be going to college as
Correct.
well.
Yes.
Correct.
Very good.
Okay, municipal building automated front door. The COG received 2 bids. And the low bid was from Automated Entrance Systems from Oakmont, Pennsylvania for $23,840, which is very good news, which means the municipality does not have to put any amount of money into the front door because we had the grant, which we got 2 years ago. Well, initially we got it for $25,000, but because certain municipalities within the COG may not take advantage of the CDBG, Community Development Block Grants that they get. The amount we had this year is $28,000, so the whole bid, or excuse me, the whole door project will be paid for by the Community Development Block Grant. So that's good news.
That's great news.
Very good news. And they have until June 15th to complete that project.
Yes.
So that won't be a problem. Okay, item number 3 is the municipal building roof. Peter Caladius, the architect from MS Consultants, told me GNW Roofing, who is a successful bidder, wants to start, weather permitting, on the roof this month, March. Now, and if it was like today, I'm sure they will begin, but he mentioned to me that March is when they want to start. And obviously, we don't want them to be putting the roof on and also putting the door in at the same time, and we'll coordinate that. So 2 projects we have here that we've been preparing for the last 3-4 3-4 months are coming to fruition. 2020 census, as Nicole mentioned, the census, everybody in the country will be getting their questionnaire from the census, and it'll be as of April the 1st. And it is important that everybody complete the census and be counted, because it affects your state, your county, and your local government, obviously Monroeville, with respect to a lot of funding, with respect to grant money, to a whole host of items that, mostly financial, but even more than that, it's a representation to Washington, D.C. and to Harrisburg of this area, Monroeville, and also the county. So it's important to complete the census as of April the 1st. Okay, item number 5. Once again, I don't know how many years in a row this is, but we have received the Certificate of Achievement from the Government Finance Officers Association. It's the highest achievement that any municipality in the country can get, because we submitted our CAFR, Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, to them, and everything is okay. And Josie, congratulations on that.
Yay, Josie. I had a lot of help.
Yeah, and it is a gargantuan effort to put all that together, but we do it every year, and we have to submit it to Chicago by June 30th is the date to submit that. Number 6 is a Tri-Cog Land Bank proposed property disposition. This is the first property disposition by the Land Bank. Council, you have in your packet 3 properties there, I believe. Let's see if I can, yeah. And the properties, one on Alpine Village Drive, one on McKinney Road, and one on Poplar Street. They have more, I've seen the pictures that they have sent out in the email, and they have brought those 3 pieces of property up as far as they can, and they are now going to be putting them on the market. And it's just more or less an FYI. Now, if you want to oppose it, which I don't think council wants to, then you have 60 days in order to do that. I believe the time period is 60 days, so that is an FYI for council. Number 7, and unfortunately, those people that travel Northern Pike, like myself, PennDOT is going to be closing Northern Pike from March 16th to July 2nd. That is the section just up from Abers Creek Road, about 800 feet, and I have announced it probably the last 3 months, but we just definitively received the time period in which it's going to be closed. And the signs are already up, and also Abers Creek Road is also going to be closed. They were going to keep that open, but I think it's going to be closed. Now, we have put on the website and on Facebook the detour through Alpine Village and also obviously Route 22. So that section is going to be closed, and what they have to do is they have to probably put gabion baskets. I'm not sure if that's what they're going to be doing, but they have to support that hillside that is starting to slide. So that's going to be closed from that time, from March 16th until July 2nd, and weather permitting, it could be longer.
And Mr. Little, before you, the
Sure.
detour into Alpine Village, will that come down back onto Abers Creek at Valley Park?
No, it's not going to go through Abers Creek. In fact, you have a copy of the detour.
Mr. Hugus?
The detour goes through Alpine Village.
Yeah.
Does it come down down by Valley Park and
Yes,
connects at Abers
it does.
Creek Road down at that
Oh,
point?
I thought you meant go through Abers Creek. Okay, yeah, right at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Little,
We have to.
could we have PennDOT look into adjusting the light at Sheets? Because that really backs up there, and without Northern Pike, that part of 22 is going to be a nightmare. If they could adjust that light, let more traffic through there, I think would be a big help for the public.
There's no such thing as adjusting the lighted sheets. It's based on traffic demand.
Yes.
There's no set timings to it. The camera system is what allows the traffic to move.
So it'll self-regulate?
It's computer smart.
What did I say?
There you go. It had to go
Sometimes
through
it's
a
a
learning
little
I mean,
process,
that's,
right?
Right.
that's the easiest way I know how to say it. It's computer smart.
Well, you're right, Mr. Williams, there's going to be some backup at that
I
one.
mean, even on a Sunday, sometimes it backs clear up to Alpine Village.
And then some.
And one of the reasons why they closed Abers Creek, if you get under the Q lane heading west on 22, as I do every morning,
I know he does.
if you were going to make a left, either going into Abers Creek or coming from Penn Township coming out, as you said, that would back up out on the 22, and that's why they probably decided to close that little spur there by that little massage place there and that nice brick house that's there, and so they just decided to close Abers Creek down too, so. Okay?
Very good.
Okay, and
That's all
that
you have for this
concludes my report.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Little.
I have one question on that too.
Sure.
I looked at the distribution list at the end of the memo from here. We kind of missed the hospitals.
Oh, yeah, they didn't tell me?
I didn't see it on this distribution list too, so.
All right, good point.
We
Yeah,
did
if we
talk
could-
about that.
Yeah, if we get to both of the hospitals, and then if you can attach something to it, their respective EMS coordinators.
Yeah,
will
but they
reach
got
out
to Pittsburgh Department of Public Works because that's important.
Yeah, there you go. So, right. In any case, yeah, so the hospitals do absolutely need
Well, they have-
to know that. So, and their respective pre-hospital EMS departments will also distribute to some of the local EMS agencies.
That's right, Murraysville will be notified. Murraysville will be notified.
Just a-
Very good.
Thank you.
I can't wait.
Mr. Ratcher, do you have anything this evening?
Nothing, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Hugus.
Yes, PennDOT sent a notification to the municipality. I'm going to read a real quick paragraph. That starting March 9th through June 25th, PennDOT will be contracting with Tri-State Traffic Data to conduct traffic data counts on some municipally owned roadways. They do this as part of the Federal Highway Administration. So the data collected is reported annually to the Federal Highway Administration, and that is used for funding allocations from the federal government. So there will be some traffic data out, the complete letters in your packet, but I can tell you what roads they are going to be. It's going to be Bluegrass Circle, Garden City Drive from Cranberry to Hackberry, California Avenue, Maria Drive, Madison Street, Edgemead Court, Seco Road, Ohio Street from Bellwood to Gregory, Bradbury, Willow Drive from Poplar to Rosecrest, and Main Street. The complete letter is in your packet.
Thank you, Mr. Hugus. Anything else this evening?
That is it.
Great. Ms. Rock.
All right, I have just an update on our proposed capital improvement program. We have, Tim and I have met with all the department heads after they submitted their preliminary plan. At this point, we have, for our 5-year municipal total, we're looking at 25 million, which is a easy math, 5 million a year. Now, Tim has asked everyone to pare down their requests, hopefully to get it in the 16 million range. Our previous capital plan was, that spanned from 2014 to 18, was at 16 million, and as far as I can see, we didn't quite spend all that. So we're thinking that the 16 million's a reasonable goal, but of course, it's gonna be your decision. Also, when you get your copy of the program, we've asked the department heads to put an explanation line into everything that's on their list. For example, police department routinely updates their vehicles, and so what we're gonna have the vehicles in the year that we have existing, and then as that gets replaced. And when we're talking about our plan, our threshold for capitalizing is $5,000. So This is just looking at items that's over 5,000 individually. So, but that's about it. We're continuing, I'm continuing to work on it, and hopefully I'll have a draft for you, maybe. I guess we're looking for the next meeting, right?
We're looking at it quite possibly to have a draft next month, and this is tentative, because as Josie has mentioned, we're looking at about a 20% pairing of what we have. And our two biggest cost centers obviously are the police department and engineering and public works. And it's some of the things on there that maybe should be taken off, but I'm going to leave them on there because it's more or less going to be a policy decision for you on different items, and we'll discuss that when we get into the public hearings. Tentatively looking at having the public hearings latter part of April, early May, and if everything goes according to plan, having the capital improvement plan adopted at the June meeting. That's a tentative plan. But we have the basis, even more than that, of structure of the capital improvement. But now we're starting to have to shed some stuff. And also, to a smaller extent, we're adding some stuff, just having a meeting today with Paul with respect to security issues in the building that I think have to be done. So that adds a little bit. I mean, it's not into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we have to talk to the chief about that. But there are some things that have to be added, as I've talked to council about that, in the past months, different things. So it's 22 million. We're at 25 million. Josie is a large number. That's about 5 million a year, which is a lot. So we wanted to, as Josie said, we have to get it down, and then. But if you want to crank it back up or lower it, that's what the public hearings are all about.
Is there anything we should be looking at as far as the security of the front door while the front door is getting taken
Well,
care of?
very good question. And as I think I briefly mentioned that a couple months ago, we had to move on the front door because the money had to be spent by
Right.
June 30th. And I wanted to take exactly what you're saying. I wanted to bring those together with
Right.
Dave Schaefer from LGA, but the timing, it just wasn't possible. So I had to move with that before the architect on the security issues, which he's going to be done at the Senior Citizen Center on Tuesday, next Tuesday. So the coordination just wasn't there, or else we would have lost the money.
And I understand that, but we couldn't have grabbed him for those doors first before the senior center?
No,
Darn it.
no. Couldn't.
That would've been nice if
And,
we had
and 2 months ago, that's what I tried to do.
Yeah, it would've
And
been
even
nice if they
before
played
Christmas,
together.
the holidays, it just didn't work out.
Okay.
Didn't work out.
Well, I think that the question, and again, I'm sure I've seen something about those particular doors, but the question remains, is power supplies and I'm going to use the term loosely, open architecture. Enough of those are probably going to be enough for us to be able to adapt to anything as improvements move forward. So that's the only request that I can think of right now.
Yeah, Dave Schaefer, the architect, when I spoke with him, he has some different ideas. One in particular does deal with the vestibule there, but there's other ones, 2 or 3 other ones that don't even have anything to do with that.
Sure.
So it depends on when he and I and another architect that works in his office will be here next Wednesday or Thursday, and we'll start to solidify with the foyer out there what we'll be doing. Is it ideal to do something before or during you're putting in automatic doors? Yes, it is. But I don't suspect it's really going to impede anything or damage anything.
I'll see, check some
availability.
availability and see if maybe I can join by phone.
Sure.
Possibility, we'll
yeah.
see if we can do that,
Yeah.
and you say for Wednesday?
All right.
It'd be great.
Tim, I'd like to thank you for trying to be fiscally prudent. However, the cost of business today is continuing to rise. So I would like to see us maybe not go to 25 million, but perhaps just add 20% to our previous 16 million and it would bring us a little short of $20 million. And that way, we're gonna have enough funding to take care of a lot of the issues, along with the security issues that we're gonna have to address.
Well, that's all gonna be, that's what all of the public hearings are about, Tom. You know, I mean, I can have, all those things will be presented to you during the public hearings, and you'll get a draft before that, so you'll be able to digest it before the public hearings, or excuse me, during the public hearings. And just like the department heads give their presentations during our annual budget, we're gonna do the same format. So you have any questions about anything in particular, you know, you can ask them. And that's the time to add, delete, as an elected body, this is what you get elected for, to say, okay, no, we're gonna only spend 15 million over 5 years, or no, we're gonna spend 20 million over 5 years. That's your decision and that's your call.
And how we fund this as well.
And how you fund
That, I think,
it.
is one of the biggest questions, is how do we
And
fund
how you fund
whatever
it.
number we pick?
You know, grants, transfers from the general fund, bonds.
Yes.
Taxes.
Yeah.
Those are the four biggies. In fact, that's really about the only way you can
That's a
fund
big question, I think, in the whole middle of this
Yeah,
whole
but
entire thing.
my whole thing is this, it's, we don't wanna shortchange the security.
No.
We don't wanna shortchange, since we have a lot of new employees, we have a lot of, benefits to pay for the new employees and so forth.
And that's one of the things I'm very cognizant of, and Joe.
Oh, I know you are, yes.
Well, not just the cost, but the issue, the items, big ticket items that, really, I mean, I can say, well, let's not put it in the capital improvement program, and you may not even think about it, but no, my philosophy is, there's policy decisions here that you as an elected body have to make. And if you want to float a $10 million bond,
No,
that's your
absolutely
decision.
not.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, so those are, you know, you're just not talking about security, you're talking about roads and infrastructure, you're talking about parks and recreation, so you're talking about a whole host of, items, that you're gonna have to make tough decisions on what's gonna happen in the next 5 years with respect to finances, and as Linda said, how to finance it.
Well, as we move down the road, though, the cost of those,
It goes up,
issues
Sure.
is going to rise.
sure.
So we should plan for that,
Yeah.
rather than, leave Steve and, Bobby with, something, and, Eric.
I mean, and our debt service is $3.2 million, which is high, for a municipality of this size, a $35 million general fund budget, but you know, it'll come down somewhat in 2022, or excuse me, 2023, but it then comes down a lot in 2024, $500,000, or, you know, from 3.2 to $600,000.
But that's not this council's doing. The bonds were purchased
No,
before
but
this council
it still
was
is
even
what it is.
elected.
You know, we have to pay it back. Now, with that in mind, now this is a 5-year, which actually 19 is included with this because the last capital improvement program ended in 18, so we want to have continuity. So the money we spent last year is going to be outlined in there, but obviously we're going to be talking about is 20 moving forward.
We don't have to spend it. All I'm saying is be prepared to have it if we need it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And those are all, you know, going to be your decisions that, knowing that as you move into 2023, you know, maybe you do want to float a bond. I'm not suggesting that, but that's your call, whoever is on council at that time.
That's a good point, Mr. Wilson. We'll have plenty of time to discuss that.
Thank you.
Great. I was just trying to forget where we left off. So you still have the floor, Mr. Rock, so
No, that's-
anything else?
No, that's it. That's,
Okay, very good.
that's about it.
Excellent. Great job. Moving over to our reports of council members, Mrs. Gatos, anything this evening?
In case I forget, on Tuesday, happy St. Patty's Day, everyone. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Poach.
Now, that was something on Tuesday, I believe, for, it's later on in the week, but nothing else at this time, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Harvey.
Sit back and light them if you got them. First, I want to congratulate Josie and the entire finance department on the award they received through the Government Finance Officers Association. I know Tim mentioned it, but I wanted to say it again myself, and congratulations on that excellent finance reporting.
Thank you.
I met with the residents of Glenwood organization, and I think we had a very good meeting. There are 2 items they requested, which I'll see Mr. Little and Mr. Hugus about later. They're not biggies. They just wanted a copy of the documents, which brings me to my point. Tom, Paul, do you know when you will have the schedule for the road paving?
Next month, it'll be in front of you.
Okay. And I'm supposed to read this. I promised Mr. Logan and Monroeville, welcome Monroeville. I would read this at every meeting from now until it happens, because they got complaints that you never announced it. So here goes. The terrain race is set for October 10th, with the possibility of adding a second day, October 11th. It is at the Monroeville Park West. As of February 1st, there are 1,500 participants that are registered. The public can register at terrainrace.com. Prepare to hear that from now until the race happens.
Good.
It was a great event.
Put on
Our planning for the race will start in the beginning of June.
Yeah. I attended my first meeting with the Monroeville Visitors Convention Bureau. It was very informative, and I will have more for in the future. I'm going to read a couple of the events, not this whole list tonight. The Monroeville Fire and Rescue, or the Pittsburgh Fire and Rescue Expo is actually this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Pretty interesting. It's mainly for emergency responders, but for $5, believe me, it's a very interesting expo. Westpac's Job Fair is Wednesday, March 11th. That's $10 walk-in fee. Primetime dancing, there is no fee. That's Friday, March 13th, 14th, and 15th. And I'm going to end this report with this one. The second annual Mind, Body, and Holistic Healing Expo. Again, no admission. February, I think they typed the wrong dates because this is already gone. So I think they meant March 14th and 15th. I'll read the rest at Tuesday's meeting because I got 3 pages of them. So, other than that, the only other question I have is, does anybody know what's going on with the resident on Monroeville Boulevard that we were originally going to evict from his house because of construction?
I saw a excavator up there tearing the house next door down. And his house, there was a car in the driveway and it was still up.
I was just curious what the status is.
Mr. Ratcher, do you have a comment on that?
Yeah, I do. We're in the process of moving forward with some legal action. There's also a hearing scheduled down in Pittsburgh related to some action code enforcement took. So we're at this point moving forward to try to get some resolution to it.
Okay. And I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey. Mr. Wolfram.
Actually, I'd like to say thank you to the NAACP pancake breakfast that we had last Saturday, wasn't it? I want to make sure it just lasts because time flies and everything like that. There were some great speakers there that night or day, I'm sorry. And wow, did I learn some things. I mean, there was a bunch of us there and everything here in committee and stuff like that. And there was politicians there that everybody just spoke unbelievable. I mean, I really did learn a lot there and just want to thank them for that.
Very good. Is that all you have this evening?
That's all I have, sir.
Excellent. Thanks, Steve. Mr. Williams.
First, I want to thank Josephine for her excellence in financing. You're making Monroeville look good. Thank you. The other thing is, Monroeville has a resident by name of Carol Patterson who's involved with St. James Fellowship and is employed at Arden Court's Memory Care in Monroeville. In 2019, she received the honor of Champion of Caring for Arden Court. In 2020, Carol will receive the distinction of becoming the Champion of Care for the entire HCR Manor Care healthcare system. That's 8 divisions. So I want to congratulate Carol and thank her for doing a good job. My sister was there, and the facility is like living in a country club.
Nice.
And I appreciate Carol's care and the other caregivers. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr.
Nothing-
Wilson?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing this evening. Very good. Well, Josie, excellent job once again. Congratulations on the award, and it's a lot of hard work. And yes, you did say you have a lot of help, and
Yes, I have the
you and your
entire
team,
staff
excellent
and,
job.
you know, IT assists, and we get help from a lot of people.
A lot of hands on deck, but
Exactly.
but excellent job.
Yeah, thank you.
We have an annual upcoming event, our Jack Sedlak Memorial Cleanup Day. It's the 25th annual, Saturday, April 25th. So it's the 25th annual on the 25th of April. Very good, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Beautify your neighborhood, park, school, house of worship, or roadway. Join the Municipality of Monroeville, your neighbors, family, and friends for Cleanup Day to make our community cleaner. You can register through the Recreation Department. The deadline is Monday, April 20th. There's all more information on the website as well, but it's always a great event. Joe Sedlak, runs this in honor of his father. Jay's very much involved as well behind the camera over there, and it's always a great event. There is also an appreciation picnic at Monroeville Community Park West right after the event. Food, company, and it says it here, awesome raffle prizes. Not just raffle prizes, awesome prizes. It's on the flyer itself. You always do a great job and hand out a lot of prizes. Everyone gets a T-shirt. It really is a wonderful event. So that's April 25th. We'll be talking about this as we get closer. We, at the start of the meeting, we talked about the big news item, which is the coronavirus. The other big news item is the upcoming election. In Monroeville, and the primary election in Pennsylvania is April 28th, 2020. Your last day to register to vote for that election is April 13th. Also, if you would like to change your party affiliation, you would have to do that 30 days prior to the election, so we'll say that's March 28th. Votespa.com is where you can get all the information. You can register there. You can change your party there. You can also do it by mail and through the county. But whatever side you support or whatever you want to do, please get out and vote. Many people sacrificed it all for this privilege to vote in our country. So please register, and then don't forget that the primary election is April 28th. And with that, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Thank you and good night.
Okay.